everybody wants to be the first to beat us, and we kind of know it, and we embrace it. That's obviously the challenge for us now to finish the season undefeated. Things kind of worked out for us in the way that the final actually will happen in Chicago. I think from the start everybody was like, okay, we don't want to miss out on this. This is our final to take our spot to get as fast as we can, and so it was always from the start. It was a clear goal.
Chris Hilsenbeck.
Welcome to US Rugby Happy Hour Live. Interviews with the biggest names in American rugby.
Consecutive MLR championship, and Team USA make history in Paris.
USA Rugby is heading to Australia.
Here are your hosts, Bill Baker and that other guy.
Hello and welcome to USA. We haven't done a show in 2 weeks. US Rugby Happy Hour. John Fitzpatrick, how are you?
Bill Baker, I'm doing good. I thought maybe we changed the name of the country for a second. I was confused.
That might come up during our conversation today with our guest.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Or at least country stuff.
Yeah.
So we are here to talk politics, and no,
We've rebranded.
we rebranded. It's been 2 weeks. We rebranded.
From 2 listeners to 0.
Yes, exactly. But listen, thank you for joining in. We got a really fun Major League Rugby and international conversation with our guest in just in a couple minutes. Chicago Hounds. I have Chris Hilsenbeck. Should we redo this? No, we're not going to redo this. Okay. So Fitzy, it feels like the season's almost over. We got 4 matches, I think, per club. It's going so fast, man. But I've really enjoyed the competitiveness of some of these games. Obviously today's guest, Chicago Hounds, they're running away with it at this point. 4 more matches are ours, and especially a really big matchup this weekend against the second place team. But how are you feeling about this league this season?
As an Old Glory DC fan, a couple of weeks ago, I was like, okay, here we go. Things are looking good. They had a good effort against Chicago. A red card kind of derailed things a little bit. And then, I was pretty happy about how the New England Free Jacks are at the bottom of the standings. But here we are during week 7 in Old Glory DC versus New England Free Jacks. The loser of that game is going to be in the basement, most assuredly. I'm not happy right now, Bill. I'm not happy. I'm not in a good spot.
I'm with you, man. I know my team, the Free Jacks, have called upon some reinforcements a little bit late in the year, but let's just make it a competitive last 4 matches for both of our teams, or let's just have a little nice competitive challenge for this weekend's match. We'll have to figure that out. I don't have an Old Glory shirt or hat or jersey to wear, so we can't do that. Also, Fitzy, another thing that we're in last in, or at least I am, is our fantasy rugby league. Dead last. And
you are.
Yes. You were right there with me a couple weeks ago, and you just all of a sudden jumped up. Yeah.
I was. And then I wisely picked up a couple of available Chicago Hounds players, and I'm winning. So maybe I should have done that earlier in the season.
I saw someone picked up Chris, actually, today or the other day on waivers. So good for them. Hell of a kicker they picked up. All right, let's do this. We're going to get on to our guests. But first, listeners, please follow, and subscribe to this podcast. Or if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, please follow along and leave some comments. We love comments. If you have any questions for future guests or suggestions, please do so right into the comments, and we look forward to hearing from you. And as usual, let's introduce our guest.
Today's guest, from the black to the USA Eagles, number 590. This number 10, lifting the Windy City to MLR leaders. Cool under pressure. A professional's professional. A tactical mind and a boot made of steel. Let's get the happy hour started and see how he feels. Let's welcome Chris Hilsenbeck.
There he is. Hello, Chris.
Hey guys, what a song! Got me pumped.
You pumped? We'll give it to the stadium announcer for your next home game. So when you come out in the pitch.
Yes, please. Every conversion, every penalty, play it.
Absolutely. I think they overdo it in baseball, Major League Baseball. So let's do that with Major League Rugby also. Just start pumping. We should start supplying custom songs, Fitzy. I think it's a business.
There you go. That's a great idea.
Chris, man, how have you been? How are you this week?
Very good, very good. Obviously coming from the back of a good win against Anthem. things are going our way. Um, Stacking up the wins at the moment. So yeah, we just want to keep it rolling. Have another good performance, especially defensively against the Legion this weekend. So yeah, things been going good this year so far.
So, Chris, we want to go way in the way back machine and start off our interview with you about a little about your history that people may not know. All right, I think our crack, research team called Wikipedia says that you were born in the LA suburb of Northridge before moving to Germany. Tell us about that. I know you're probably a little kid, but what was behind that? Your family moved overseas?
Exactly. So my mom moved overseas to finish her college degree. She became an English teacher, so she was studying in California, where she met my dad back in the 90s. So, at some point. So I was born then in Northridge. Didn't really grew up there. I was like a couple of months old, probably 9, 10 months old, when my mom decided to move back to Germany. Then grew up in Germany, started playing rugby over there up until I was roughly 16, and then made the move over to France to pursue, like, it was at the start of it, obviously was too young, but like trying to become a professional rugby player. And yeah, was lucky enough to get the opportunity, and then played for most of my career in different clubs in France before coming out to Chicago. I actually had a little stint with Atlanta in 2023 as well, but yeah, mostly coming out to Chicago last year and again this year.
So Chris, so how old were you when you started playing rugby in Germany? Because when I hear Germany and I hear youth sports, a lot of people maybe assume just like, hey, soccer, right? Germany is such a powerhouse in soccer and many other sports, but how rugby or why rugby and how old were you?
So I was six or like I would say, yeah, just around 6 years old. One of my best friends that I went to school with, he started playing rugby for some, I don't know, for some mysterious reason. Actually, if you want to say the city where I'm from in Germany is called Heidelberg, and it's always been a city where a lot of students came from England, from France. So there was a lot of university or varsity rugby going on. So you have quite a few clubs in Heidelberg that play each other, and so rugby is actually a thing in that small little town in Germany, whereas like you said, in the rest of the country, it's mostly soccer. So yeah, that's how I got started at the age of 6 or 7, roughly. And yeah, most of my friends, then other guys, other friends, sorry, from school, or boys that lived in the same street as we did. We just brought them to training, and they eventually all started playing rugby. So I would say, yeah, my best mates all played with me in these first years, first 10 years of rugby. Yeah.
And like soccer, you just didn't care for it? Just
We,
curious, yeah.
we played tons of soccer, a little bit in obviously in clubs as well, but mostly like on the street, in between houses, on any parking lots or whatever, or city parks that we had. But at some point, I don't know, all of us were just so into rugby that we kind of dropped the soccer story.
Kind of sounds like what happens here in the US when young kids pick up a rugby ball and they can tackle people. But so Chris, we glossed over a little bit there, but I mean, you got pretty far with the German national team, right? I believe capped 21 times. Is that correct?
Yep, yep.
Yeah. So what made you walk us through? Because like we hear about, obviously, if you've being born in the U.S., you had U.S. eligibility. How did you decide to say, hey, you know what, I want to try and gain eligibility to play with the men's Eagles? Like, how does that conversation start? What's the process for making the transition?
I would say my rugby career was always like kind of based up on a dream, which was to become a professional rugby player as a young kid. And like I was always trying to just pursue that. So in Germany, it wasn't really an option, because there were no professional clubs at the time that gave us the opportunity to do that. so the first step had to be coming to France or another European country that would make it possible to become a professional player. And then eventually, like, the German rugby national team kind of grew in these years as well, and made it actually to a pretty solid level. I would say it's like the Six Nations B, where you got like Georgia, Russia, Romania, etc. And we were competing for spot in the World Cup. And eventually lost to Canada, I think back in 2018, sorry, it was. And after that, I kind of just went on with my career in France, because obviously playing both is very tough when you play already like 30 plus games a year in France, and clubs really don't, because they pay you, obviously they don't really want you to be away for a long time.
Oh, we know how it works in
So
France. We
Oh,
know
yeah.
how it
yeah,
works.
exactly. So I kind of held back a little bit on my national career, because I wanted to become somebody important in the team that I was playing for at the time. But then, yeah, growing older, like obviously hitting the 30 mark or something, I was like, okay, what do I want to achieve in my career still? Like, where do I want to go? Is it worth the sacrifice that you're putting in? And so I was in contact like with Steve Brett, the actual attack coach from the Eagles at the moment. He was already over in the US, and we kind of just started talking a little bit, and I was telling him that I was eligible to play for the Eagles. And then the short stint in Atlanta came together. I started talking to Scott Lawrence for the first time, and yeah, and then eventually things just fell into place to a certain point where I wasn't playing in France, and my contract was stopped, and I would say, okay, I'm going to make the move to the US now. That was 2024. So yeah, put my name out there, try to get into contact with a few clubs, but nothing. There was nothing going on.
Yeah.
No replies. No club was really interested. So I was sitting back home in France with my fiance. I was like, well, listen, this might be the end of my career, because I said no to a few gigs in France, because I didn't want to move with my family again around in France. And there's nothing really going on in the US, so well, might as well call it a day. And then I think Tim Sweel, who was the starting 10 last year for the Hounds, got injured. The Hounds wanted somebody else and brought me in real late. Chris Latham called me at the time, and I actually told my fiance, listen, I don't know if that's a good idea. Like, it's so late in the season, not really late, but it's just a late call. Like, for a 10, it's tough, like, to just get going when you're thrown in there. You want to learn the system, you want to be like part of the whole DNA. But like I mentioned, my missus just said, like, let's do it, we'll see if it goes. It's a short season. If it's not what you want to do, you can always say no after. So yeah, that's how the story began. And then season went well for us. Started to talk more with the USA coaches, and then got my first cap last July against Belgium.
Hey, Chris, where do you call home in the off season?
It's in France, Biarritz. So this is where we have a place with my fiance and my son. So she is French, and she comes from the Toulouse area where I played a lot as well. But yeah, at the moment we have our place in Biarritz, which is a little bit more towards the west coast of the country.
Fitzy, it sounds like we have a place in France to go visit and a place to stay. Okay, anyway,
definitely come. It's a beautiful place.
Oh, I know. I've seen videos and pictures. Only been to Paris myself, so I need to get down to the warmer areas. So, Chris, you touched on Major League Rugby, obviously, with Chicago. Talking about this season right now, we're in week 7, or this past week 7, had a very convincing win over Charlotte. 5 players from the Hounds included in the first 15 for MLR this weekend. You're undefeated now. So is there any sense or feeling that, maybe there's a target on your backs now, maybe like the Free Jacks had last few years? You guys are playing so well this year. Do you think now, okay, everyone's coming to get us. They need to get through us.
Yeah, definitely. There's something like you said about like us having a target on the backs. Everybody wants to be the first to beat us. and we kind of know it, and we embrace it. That's obviously the challenge for us now to finish the season undefeated. I think it's a great place to be in. I think our preseason went very well. You could see there was a lot of effort and thought put into the way the coaches wanted us to prepare, and I think our biggest advantage this year was the kind of the stability that we had coming from last season into this season, with a lot of leaders coming back, the coaching staff being in place, not changing. So yeah, definitely that's the challenge for us this year, staying undefeated and pushing away all the threats that might, or obstacles that might come into our way before the playoffs.
Well, I mean, then how do you maintain that focus? I mean, you're 12 points ahead of California at the time, 4 matches left. And again, you got them this weekend. You know, how do you maintain that focus and maybe not slide and not lose momentum going into the playoffs?
I would say it's basically like more about us. I would say at where we're at the moment, we don't really look at the other teams or how they perform. Obviously, we know how Legion likes to play and we've analyzed them, but it's more about analyzing our performance week to week and looking for opportunities of growth. Like I said, start of our conversation, we are in a great spot, but I still think like defensively or with the number of points that we conceded last week or in other games as well, I think there's still some areas of growth. Players know it. Players want to improve. So it's basically about how good can we get until the end of the season and make sure we give the least amount of attacking surface to other teams once we are in these playoffs.
Chris, I want to talk a little bit about the approach going into this season. Certainly, I think a lot of folks had the Hounds pinned as a contender. I mean, a lot of it was, last year you guys got all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, coming up short there. But what was the message from, say, the coaching staff going into this season about, like, here's what we need to do to get to the finals? What was that message from the coaching staff?
I would say they wanted to keep, obviously, a players group, a very strong players group from last year, because there were a lot of things in place already that were working very well. I think with the season being that short and obviously the off season and having so many different stories about teams dropping out, I think where the coaches were very confident was in the fact that we, like I just said before, had a lot of stability, and the Hounds as an organization itself was never thinking, or we had a lot of chat during the offseason whether we got reassured the Hounds will compete. So I think we just had that kind of confidence coming back to, like, okay, listen, we have this system in place that works, that has proven to show results last year. We just need to get that machine rolling as quick as we can, and that will actually give us a head start compared to other teams that, for example, like California Legion, who had to like reorganize the whole thing. Other teams that still are the same but had a lot of turnover. I felt like we went to first week of preseason. We started a 15 against 15 scrimmage, and it felt like we've never left. Like we almost hit the ground running. We had a few Zoom calls where we went over our attack and defense system. So it actually felt like we've never stopped, and I think that's where our biggest advantage compared to the other teams comes from at the moment.
Yeah, so certainly bringing back a core group helps, right? Continuity. And we had Hounds GM Will McGee on beginning of the season there and talked a little bit about, some additional pieces that he added, of course, obviously from players leaving, some of the teams that had to fold. But, we've seen in MLR in the past how some teams have looked really good on paper, but then sometimes that star power fails to translate actually on the field. Injuries, things just, pop up, the bounce of a rugby ball. You talked a little bit about this, but is there something different about this team then for it to click as well as it has for a 6-0 start?
I would say, to be honest, I think I would say everything about the Hounds as an organization at the moment is is pretty amazing. I would say from on-field staff, obviously players, SNC, medical, like everybody. Firstly, is very competent. Means you got people that know their job and actually know what they're doing. I think, or I've talked to a lot of new guys that like on the onboarding coming into the Hounds, they were actually, and for me it was the same last year when I came in. I was so surprised on how well the club was structured, how everything was like there was thought behind everything they were doing. So I would just say it's a very well run and well thought organization where actually every detail matters, and that kind of bleeds into everything also on the field. Because if you during the week you feel that you're looked after, that you got every possible whatever recovery facility, that your family is looked after on game days, and it's just such a pleasant way to actually like get to work and perform, because you know that the people that you're doing it for like care like deeply care about you, and I think that sense of belonging and yeah, just things working in the right way makes a big difference.
Think same with things working in the right way, Chris. 4th in the league in points scored right now, and that's without playing against Anthem, where you lost out on 16 points, man. From Santiago took those. What do why? I mean, you've been a solid kicker. You may last year's season when we talk about that, but what's the difference this year? Is it better team around you? And we don't mean by that, I don't mean you're any diminished by your kicking abilities, but I mean, does it help having those players around you to get you in those positions, maybe to be a good point scorer or contributing to those points?
100%. I mean, quality players all around me, just left to my left, it's Ruben de Haas, playing at 9, unbelievable player. I think 40 plus caps, great kicking game, like very quick understanding. Like we've only played I think maybe 3 games before that. We came into preseason, had as much chats as we could get in, and now it's like almost, it feels like we've been playing together for a couple of years. Same with Ollie Devoto. We didn't know each other before I came in last year, but same, it just clicked between us. I think we're kind of on the same page. Like our rugby brains are pretty similar, I would say. So yeah, that definitely helps. I would almost say this year I'm scoring less because we don't go for penalties. Actually, we go for the corner every time. So my conversions are kind of like always on the 5 meter, like touch line to 5 meters. So I must say I'm not very happy with my kicking rate at the moment, because it's below 80 or something, 82. I think it was something like that last year. So obviously missing out on 16 points against Anthem. But yeah, no, just kidding. That's a side thing. Like I much rather have the team score tries, play well. That's what we do at the moment. And then yeah, if I can add the extra 2s or extra 3s when they're needed, especially for example in a conference final, not hitting the post but getting it through the uprights. Yeah, that's probably the most important.
Well, no one actually saw it because the TV crews cut away. So never happened.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but yeah, still sticks a little bit.
Yeah, one of the questions we asked AJ McGinty when he was on the show last, with the Bears, with Bristol, try scored, and I asked him, it's like, I never see you in the celebrations. What are you doing? Is it because the kick clock, whatever else? He says, when they score, they throw the ball, and I have to go get the ball. So
especially now that the clock's rolling every time. Like you only got a minute now to get it going. So yeah, it's a good point. Like,
all right, this weekend I mentioned California, number 1 versus number 2. Cali coming off of a tough loss to New England. I'd say personally, I think a lot of us think this is the match of the weekend to watch, other than Fitzy, other than the Free Jackson and Old Glory. How are preparations going for this match? I know you talked about it earlier as well, but talk about maybe any specific preparations going into this game.
so it's kind of a shorter week for us because we played on Sunday and going into a Saturday game. So that I think that's why staff had a few changes against Anthem last weekend, and guys like Lucas Rumble, Mason Flesch, Ollie Devoto, for example, got a bit of rest to be extra fresh then actually for this weekend's game. The start of the week was more about getting the bodies right, I would say, after Sunday's game against Charlotte. We have our big training day tomorrow, so far things are going pretty well, and I would say for us this weekend the big focus is our defense, because I think that's where we put ourselves in the most vulnerable spot, because I think our attack is fine, but maybe in a semi-final, or even if we get lucky enough in a final, a good attack might not be enough, because you come up against a very, probably the second strongest team, or first strongest team we'll ever place will finish, and I think keeping your own scoreboard, or like the opposition scoreboard, sorry, as low as you can, gives you a huge advantage. So I think, especially going now against the Legion, which is a team that likes to hold on to the ball, very attack focused. I think, yeah, that's the test for us this weekend. It's on how good can we actually be in defense, because I think our attack is in a very good spot right now, and I think, yeah, we'll definitely have some growth for us in our defense.
Yeah.
So, Chris, obviously you want to take things one game at a time. You don't want to look over opponents or look ahead too far. So just hear me out on this one here. So SeatGeek Stadium, that's going to be the home of your Hounds, right, where you play the home games. They're going to be hosting the MLR finals this year. So should the Hounds get there, it'd be a chance to play for a championship in front of the home fans. Has your group, have you guys thought about what that might mean for y'all?
Actually, from the start of the season, like, staff and management didn't they didn't hide away from it. They just like put it out there straight away. It's like, boys, this is where we want to be. This is where we have to be at the end of the season. We've got this like massive opportunity that was given. I wouldn't say it was given to us. Like, things kind of worked out for us in the way that the final actually will happen in Chicago. So yeah, I think from the start everybody was like, okay, this, like, we don't want to miss out on this. This is our final, to take our spot to get as fast as we can, and yeah, so it was always from the start, it was a clear goal.
Mm-hmm. So Bill is a big New England Free Jacks fan, and they obviously have won the last 3 straight MLR championship. Chris, what is it going to take to dethrone the New England Free Jacks and the reign of terror?
I would say, so I was like talking about it, I would say defense. I just think about our last like conference final, sorry, at the Free Jacks. I think we're up 19-0 at some point, and like, it's gone now, but I kept thinking about it, like, how did we let that slip? Like, that just can't happen in a final. So yeah, I would say defense wins championships. That's as easy as you can make it.
Last question on this one.
Go on.
Oh, go ahead, Bill. Looks like you had a question.
No, you got it.
Last question on this one, Chris. Will this be the year that a different MLR team wins the championship? Is the Free Jacks' reign, is it over this year?
I would say so. Yeah, I'd say so. Actually, we are working as hard as we can on it. I think other teams are too. We played the Free Jacks in Nashville a few weeks ago, and obviously it's a very different team. A lot of changes, but I think you could still sense the spirit, like that fight, that grit. It is still there. I think, yeah, with you guys said maybe a few late additions, they're definitely going to be dangerous. It's like you only need to be fourth in 4 weeks, so it's still attainable. And then I think on any given day, semi-final, any MLR team is good enough to beat anybody could beat anybody. So I would say chances are definitely a little bit higher that it is going to be a different team this year. But yeah, I don't think any team is out of the competition or dead, or everybody's still in it. And obviously, we want to secure a home semi as soon as we can, and then perform on that day.
Well, you're pulling all the right levers and everything else, so you guys are definitely ahead of the rest. But Chris, you mentioned earlier a bit about USA Rugby, debuting last year. What's your status with the team right now? I know we didn't see you on the list in camp early in the year.
True, I wasn't on the first camp in February. I think that one was only for players, like domestic players that live in the US throughout the whole year. We had a little mini camp in April. I think it was 3 weeks ago, something like that, where I was involved. So I think, like, very personally, I think this year staff is looking at Luke Hardy and myself, obviously AJ McGinty with his injury. I'm not sure whether he's ready or his team wants to let him go for these July tests. But I think it'll probably be us three, and then hopefully young talent emerges. Maybe someone else gets a shot or a call up at least, because I think that's what like American rugby needs as well, like young talent coming up. And especially building into that, maybe not the next World Cup, but the one in 2031, definitely.
Well, what are your goals? Do you have any international goals? 27 World Cup, 31 World Cup?
Don't tell my wife about 31, like, don't even start it. No, definitely, 2027 World Cup is my goal. Internationally, like, that was actually like why the whole story with Chicago started, because like I said, I'm eligible for the US. Okay, what's my goal? I want to make it to the World Cup because it didn't happen with Germany. So definitely. And then especially, like, we know that the first game will be against France, which will be very special because that's where I played almost 15 years of my career. And then I have a son now that is almost 2. He'll be 3, a little bit over 3. And I think my career after that World Cup won't go much further, but I kind of want him to share these memories with me, like still see me as a professional player, and have some whatever videos, photos that we can look after together. So that's kind of my goal, actually, to go to that World Cup, make some memories with my son, bring him over to Australia, my whole family, hopefully, and then have a few good games actually as well against France, Japan, and Samoa.
Yeah, tough pool. Well, Chris, man, thank you so much for jumping on with us. It's been a blast talking to you. Good luck the rest of the season with Chicago. Good luck this summer with USA Rugby as well.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the song again. Don't forget to send it over.
Oh, I definitely will, man. All right. Hey, also, when you guys wrap up your season over here in New England, let's say hello after the match.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's the last game. We'll figure that out. All right. Cheers, Chris. Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah, all right. I like, he's, like you said, Fitzy, he's having a really good year at number 10. Yeah. So I'm feeling comfortable with him now, especially with the Eagles. Yeah, it doesn't seem like AJ's gonna be ready. He hasn't appeared with Bristol yet. I know last time he came back, he didn't play much also, and it showed in AJ's kicking game against, I think it was Scotland, whoever it was that summer. But I like him. I hope he does well.
He's still a cool, steady operator there for Chicago in the 10 jersey, and obviously very familiar with the men's Eagles camps, being capped, and a number of Eagles there, Chicago. You got to love competition, in the fly half position, whether it's him or Luke. And also his son should be U.S. eligible. So in about 18 years or so.
I was going to say 31's a little early for him.
Scott Lawrence the third, right? His son will be the coach, and we'll make sure that So
all right,
I'm already plotting this out, man. We got it.
Yeah, and we have a place to go stay in Biarritz in France. So we'll do a remote show there. Let's do it. Got to work on sponsorship. And with that said, if anyone out there wants to sponsor US Rugby Happy Hour, please do so. Leave comments. No one. We're the biggest influencers in rugby in the world. So I don't understand why we don't have Coca-Cola or Budweiser.
Switch Rugby who? What?
Please.
What's that guy done?
Small stones. All All right, good stuff, Fitzy. Listeners, please like, follow, and subscribe. Please comment in the comment sections of whether it's the podcast or the YouTube video. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll check out future shows with us.